Hello and welcome to Heaton Lodge Junction's 2025 Christmas special. And in fact, I am suitably attired, as you can see myself, which I think is the first time I have ever worn a Christmas jumper. So these videos must do a lot for me in bringing me out of my normal solitary self. So there we go, it works both ways, as I've said many times. But anyway, I also left the basement last Sunday, can you believe that? And I went to Manchester for the annual Manchester Model Railway Society exhibition. And I've got to say, it's one that I put in the diary every single year. It's just superb for so many reasons. Firstly, it was packed, and this was Sunday afternoon. It's got some great layouts there, especially my favourite, Dewsbury Midland, which I'm biased because I grew up in Dewsbury. I recognise a lot of the buildings on the layout, but the scenery is exquisite. There was Copenhagen Fields there, another one, and loads of others. Some great people, great traders, and just the epitome, really, of a super exhibition. So well done to all of them in the Manchester Model Railway Society that organised that, because it really is worth putting in your diary for next year if you can get to it. Anyway, moving on. I've got loads in the video for you today, so it's probably going to be quite a long one. Loads of video clips, of course, of Heaton Lodge Junction Phase 1. I can never work out how many of you watching the videos actually like the video clips and like other parts of the video as well. Is it the video clips that people like? Is it Book of the Week? Is it the how-tos? I have no idea, but I'm hoping that it's kind of everything bundled in together, which makes this channel hopefully the success that it is. So thanks very much for watching again. But anyway, in today's video, I've got normal delivery section, and we've got loads of really nice special deliveries here today. We've got Book of the Week. I'm going to carry on with the roads because I'm building a road just above the main station on the bridge. So we're going to go through with that as well. I've even got Blooper of the Year, which I thought long and hard of before actually deciding to include it in this, for obvious reasons when you watch it. So yeah, without further ado, let's get cracking. Hello and welcome to the Manchester Model Railway Society. Oh, for f***'s sake. Hello and welcome to the 25th anniversary of the... Oh, for f***'s sake. Hello and welcome to the construction of Heaton Lodge... Okay, so we're at the main station, and the reason I brought you here is because I want to show you about, I want to continue rather with the bit that I was talking about last week on roads or dirt tracks. Now, I'm going to be building a road to go over this bridge, which is actually the scenic break. It's the last board, in fact, it's board 92, and it's the last board before the scenic break where phase 2 joins phase 1. And sorry about the mess, you can see the beginning of phase 1 over there. So anyway, basically what I'm going to be doing is building a road to go over here, complete with lampposts, pavements, grates, everything. So it's going to be the full shebang. And I started this yesterday, but I thought it was good to kind of cut in halfway and show you basically what I've done. So really, the first thing we need to do is we need to use the black card that I mentioned earlier. And I've cut this using a scalpel, obviously, to fit along the roads themselves. Now, I've allowed 5 centimetres, that's in O gauge, obviously, probably half that for double O gauge for the pavement. But the most important thing, and I've mentioned this before and regular viewers of these videos will remember, is you need to put a camber in the road. It really is one of those things where if you're looking at roads on a model railway layout and they haven't got a camber, it kind of just, in my opinion, it just doesn't look quite right. But with it, it looks right. And the camber is basically constructed in this way. So I have glued some lengths of foam board. I've just cut them in strips. They're about, in O gauge, they're about 3-4 millimeters wide. So in O gauge, sorry, in double O gauge, you need these strips of card to be, or foam board to be about a couple of millimeters. And basically, I've hot glued them to the bottom of the card. So just to clarify, we've got the bit here for the pavement. We've got the foam board, which is going to actually make the camber. And so when I hot glue these down at both sides, I'll have this lovely gentle curve, which is, you know, reminiscent of a real road. So what else have I done? Let's go over and have a look. So basically, I've got these grates from Scale Model Scenery, which do them in 00 and O gauge. So I've left them in the fret, and I've just used my AK pen, which I really like these pens, these AK pens. It's so much better than messing around with acrylic paint, taking the lid off the jar, mixing it. They're just great. They put a lot of paint on, and they're great for painting these sort of things on the fret. So I've decided I'm going to use these ones on the right for the grates over here. So I've made the holes. I've just simply cut around one of them that I've removed already, as you can see, with a scalpel. And I've decided as well, I'm going to have some road works in the middle of the road. And that is what these are for here. I've also used this grate or manhole cover, which I'm just getting off now. So this one is going to be there in the middle. So that is basically the basic construction of the road with the camber on the other side. Now, on this one, which is because obviously one length of card won't cover the full surface, so I've had to cut 2 lengths to go the full length of this road that I'm constructing. So what I've done is I have, if you can see, I've just dug in with, in fact, with one of these, just something you use to put in on paint stripper or whatever, and I've peeled off some of the top layer of card. And I've done that because I want to give a really kind of rough appearance to some parts of the road. So if you're constructing roads using card like this, sometimes it's worth just preparing it to give a little bit of interest by pulling off bits in the middle. And then when you paint the emulsion down, which I'm going to come to later, it just gives a really kind of rough appearance of, you know, a faded kind of road. So that is basically what we've done. So what else have we done? Right, let's move on. I have gone and I've used the microscope slides that I talked about last week. I've already painted these. I've painted them in these AK pens again. So these make the best puddles. Now, you might not think that looks very good. That's the painted side, but if you turn it over, you get this lovely kind of shiny appearance. Let me find another one. Here we go. That's probably not the best one either. Yeah, let's go back to the first one. So you get this lovely shiny appearance, which when they're underneath, in fact, I'm just going to move this over. When they're underneath, as you can see, like that. And what I'm going to do this in the next video, is I'm going to put the grate in here, which is, if I can just find it, which I can't. No. Oh, yes. No, sorry. Can't find it now. But I'm going to put the grate in there, and then I'm going to put the glass microscope slide underneath it. And then I'm just simply going to create some little, with Das clay, just some mud around there to smooth in that hole. And then you'll have a grate and you'll have water surrounding it, which looks absolutely brilliant. So that is my plan, ladies and gents. So that is basically, in fact, there's the grate now. Look, you always find it at the end of these clips. But so yeah, let me just do that again and just show you what I mean. We've got another little grate there. So we're going to put the grate. We're going to glue the glass microscope slide down, and we're going to put the grate on top of it like that. And then this is going to give the appearance of water surrounding the grate, just like it does. And remember, the pavement's here, this is the curb. So we're going to have, and once we've put the mud, which is the Das clay, in there and painted that a brown colour, that is going to look absolutely brilliant, especially with the faded tarmac that we're going to have, because we've ripped off parts of the, I've done it over there as well. So that is basically what we need. The ingredients, look back at the video last week and you'll see what you need to do this. But basically, microscope slides, some paint, manhole and drain covers, which I got from Scale Model Scenery. We need a steel ruler. We need some foam board, like the white foam board we've got there. This is actually from Hobbycraft. I think it's marketed as Daler card or mounting card. It's 2mm, so you might want something. In fact, no, you can use exactly the same depth for thickness rather, for 00 gauge, but it doesn't matter what thickness you use. Any gauge, it makes no difference, but that is the basic road construction, and we're going to move on next week to exactly how you make these roads. And once it's all finished, they will look absolutely fantastic. So yeah, have a look at next week's video for the finishing of the roads.
So keen for his new girlfriend not to know about the huge model railway he was building that he had to be hid it from her. And when he was in the size of it, he realised quite how big a mission that was.
It took him 8 years to build. It cost £250,000. I mean, what did she think he was doing? That's what I want to know. Should we find out?
Yes.
It's gone on display in Wakefield, and our reporter, Tom Ingle, is there for us. Morning, Tom.
Morning.
Wow.
Morning, Sally. I've had a great time watching the trains go past on what is billed as Britain's biggest model railway. I don't dispute it. This side alone is 200 feet long, and it goes around in a huge loop, fills this entire room that's on display, and it needed 3 Arctic trucks to deliver the baseboard, which have 3 miles of track, 8 miles of electric cable to control the trains, and it is the brainchild of Simon George. Simon, I know you had a bit of real inspiration here, didn't you? This is railway you grew up alongside train spotting on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I used to spend a lot of time here in the 1980s, you know, when Maggie was in number 10 and Duran Duran were in the charts. And I just wanted to recreate exactly the place that I used to go to, you know, as a child. And so I kind of took it to extremes, I think.
So it's time travelling without a TARDIS. But the thing we all want to know about is you built this pretty much in secret in a basement on the outskirts of town?
Correct, yeah. When I met my girlfriend, I didn't tell her that I was building this simply because, let's face it, model railways hasn't got the best reputation. So, no, I didn't tell her, and she sprung a surprise on me and came down one day, and yeah.
So what did she say as the door opened, expecting to see... You'd said you were a wine merchant?
Well, I kind of led her to believe that I had a lot of wine in storage down in this basement. But
there was no wine down there?
There was no wine down there, just a lot of trains.
What did she say?
Actually, it didn't backfire, fortunately, because she's got an art degree, so she really appreciated all the exquisite detail I've tried to build into this.
I have to say congratulations for the work you've done, and I can see why she was impressed. You were telling me earlier, this bridge, it's not just a bridge you've stuck up, you've actually carved the stones into the right places.
Yeah, I know, it just gets a bit of an obsession, you know, but yeah, correct. So even the stonework is carved in clay to the right kind of pattern that the real bridges have got.
Do you have a limit? I mean, have you got to the point and thought, do you know what, I've spent enough time on this, I'm going to do something else?
Yeah, I kind of, yeah, I do. But what that limit is, who knows?
And do you think your girlfriend will come out to the exhibitions?
She knows, she's been out quite a few times, yeah, so fortunately she's forgiven me now for leading her to believe I was a wine merchant, so yeah, she's fine about it now.
So have you converted it into being a railway modeller, and if so, please share your secret, how can I do
No,
that?
definitely not, definitely not. I mean, since people like Rod Stewart came along, you know, and they've been public in their passion as well, it's been a bit more accepted, but let's face it, it's had a bad run for the last few decades.
Thank you, Simon. I think you've done single-handedly what Top Gear has done for cars. You've made railway modelling cool with this amazing layout. It is on display in Wakefield for the next couple of weeks, right in the heart of town. Do come along and see it if you can. It's reignited my passion for railway modelling, but I'm pretty sure there's no way Santa's fitting this in a stocking anytime soon.
I don't think so. Thank you very much for that, Tom. That's there until the 19th of December. You can see it at Wakefield Market.
£250,000, that's a lot of fancy holidays they could have gone on.
Serious business.
Yeah.
See, you're looking at it the wrong way. It's been his passion. That's it. Breakfast is back tomorrow from 6.
Time now for Morning Live on BBC One.
Okay, so let's move on to what has landed in the dungeon this week. Now, I've got two really special things to show you, but they won't fit on this foam board, which everything is on. So I'll start with these here and just go through these lovely trees which landed just last Sunday when I went to the Manchester Model Railway Society exhibition. Now, these were made by Anthony at Tree Menders. I mentioned Tree Menders quite a lot because he does some good products for scenery. And what I wanted him to do was make me an O-gauge tree that was actually scale size, because even on my layout, most of the trees are well under scale. But this one is scale size. Obviously, I'm modelling the winter. So this is a winter tree, hence no foliage. There is ivy on there, which you can see. And he's done me a smaller one as well. Now, to give you an idea, I think I've mentioned before, Anthony will make you trees. This one was really expensive. Not in terms of the time he spent doing it, but it was 150 quid, which I know is a lot of money. But given that he probably spent, I don't know, probably at least 5 or 6 hours doing it, I don't think it's too bad value. So this is the other one he did, and he did me a nice little tree stump as well. So I don't know where I'm going to put this on the layout. I think it's going to go next to the Downs Hotel, or that castle that we featured many times that Alan Downs actually left me. So what else have we got? Well, do you remember a few weeks ago we were talking about the HS3 high-speed line and how I was going to secure these pillars, which I thought were going to be solid, but actually are made by that filament method. So it's all kind of hollow inside. So Tim came up with the ultimate plan, because I've been talking about this before on here. And what he decided to do was laser cut these little things which fit inside. How clever is that? So basically, there's a template which fits here. So I will put the template on the baseboard. I will then draw around that and then drill through here. And then we've got a really secure, in fact, there's two of them. So when these HSTs, the GNER one, come racing down one side and the Virgin liveried one on the other side, we've got a pillar and a high-speed elevated line which will not rock, it will be solid. And after each operating session, obviously we're going to have to get down underneath, use a high-speed drill to undo these and then pull them off. But that is a great solution. So thanks to Tim on Baseboards for doing that. Now, some of you will recognise another one of these. I featured this on one of these videos a few months ago. And you know what? It was really funny because when I went to the Manchester Model Railway Society exhibition, I saw at least 3 operating. So I'm hoping my influence has sold a lot of these. But I got this from eBay. It was 70 quid. It's to 150 scale. And I got some JCB stickers. This has never seen JCB in a million years. I think it's only ever seen China. But for 70 or 80 quid, can't remember how much it was now. Again, I got this off Amazon or eBay, can't remember. 150 scale, I can't even pronounce it, Yi Gong or whatever. But it's got sound and it's got everything. So you just turn it on there So you've got your flashing light and everything. And then you've got your remote control here. And you can hear that. And then you can control everything, move it round. And then if you want to move it forward and backwards, you can do that. I mean, how good is that for 70 or 80 quid? So I'm going to weather this. Hang on. So I'm going to weather this and get it on the layout next year. But there we go. I love these, really good value. And I think, well, I'm hoping there'll be a lot more of these sort of things coming in the future. Anyway, got some more bits and pieces from AK Interactive, which I always like that company. No affiliation with them whatsoever. I just like the products. Rust Effect bits and pieces. And the other thing I got from Tim Horn Baseboards, is the top of what is going to be the new station canopy on HS3 on the high-speed line, elevated station. And I had these 3D printed from Rob, who printed these about 6 months ago. So these fit on here, as you can see. And then there's some side pieces that Tim's done that glue onto here. And then all I'm going to do is ask Tim, he doesn't know yet, but I'm going to ask Tim if he can laser cut me some Perspex bits to slide into there. I might have to find a way, some elaborate or some simple way to actually fit these in. But basically, that is how it's going to look. I wanted a really kind of modern canopy for the mainline station to go with the old canopy, and in its entirety for the new station on the elevated high-speed line. So there we go. And some old high coat, get my words out, high coat primer. Now I use this all the time instead of the Halford stuff, because Halfords, I don't know what they've changed. They've changed something with it. It's rubbish now. This stuff is about as good as it gets. And I think, ladies and gents, that's about it. I'm going to put you on the handheld camera in a second, because I'm going to show you two very special things that have landed too. So hang fire. Right, moving on, and look at this beauty, a Cowans and Sheldon 75-ton crane. Now, these were built, I think, back in the 60s and 70s. Some of you guys and girls will know better than me, but this, I think they're still around today. This one is for the EWS kind of network rail era, early network rail era, and it was built for me by Kyle Humphreys at TRS Trains. Now, this one, obviously O-gauge, it's a 3D kit, which you can buy as a kit, and obviously, as I just said, he built this one for me because I just haven't got time. I'd love to have had a crack at building it, but I just haven't got the time. So he built it for me. He also weathered it, and he's done a super job with weathering it as well, as you can see. Needs the cab fitting and a few other bits and pieces that I've not got around to doing as yet. The boom doesn't work, but that's fine for me because I'm not going to have it in an operating kind of Cameo, it's simply going to be parked up on Healy Mills and might get the odd run around the layout with the re-railing equipment it usually is accompanied by. But there we go, absolutely superb. Now, TRS trains do these in N gauge, which the prices are popping up now on your screen. Do them in N gauge, double O gauge, and O gauge, which is, of course, the one you see here. But I'm really, really pleased with this. This one, as I've just said, is badged up. It's got the English, Welsh, and Scottish badge, and Network Rail, which is correct for the era, early 2000s. And yeah, well, probably a bit later, probably 2005, just after rail track. So absolutely super, really pleased with it. He's done a great job, and TRS will do the same for you if you want one of these in one of those 3 gauges. So yeah, there we go. Cowans and Sheldon 75-ton train is going to make a great addition to Healy Mills Depot. Right, ladies and gents, feast your eyes on this, because this, of course, is the HST125 Virgin set, all fully assembled for the first time. It just looks the absolute nuts, and it's obviously been assembled on the HS3 elevated high-speed line because that is where it's going to be running. Now, for most of you, most of you that watch these videos will know that Dave Lowry built these coaches and these power cars. Kit built them, painted them, and delivered them a few weeks ago, and they are absolutely stunning. The power cars have just come back from Lee's Locos because he's just been putting a ESU 5XL decoder in and the sound file with it, so it really does look fantastic. And it's times like this, to be honest, when you see something like this which you can just, your vision kind of, I don't know, it's difficult to explain, but you can see what the end result is going to be. And if you imagine that this train is going to be running, hopefully at a scale 60, 70 miles an hour down the high-speed line, probably a lot more than that, and it's going to be going for at least 35 to 38 meters, and a GNER one is going to be coming the other way, that is something special. So here we are. We'll just walk down the whole rake. We've got the full rake of 8 plus the buffet car, of course, which comes quite correctly after first class. And then we've got second class, and then we've got the HST rear car as well. So this one should have, if I just pan around, this should have, and it has the rear lights on as well. So you can see the full rake. Of course, the station is way too small to accept the full rake of the full rake, simply because if it was, it's got to be one piece as the station because it lifts off, as some of you will know. I couldn't make it into 2 pieces for all sorts of reasons, but it just means that the HST won't stop at this station. It will be racing through, but I can tell you now, it'll have a lot of signal stops. So you'll be able to hear it power up and roar away and see the GNER one coming back the other way. Anyway, I have linked it up to my erstwhile Signatrack temporary power unit because I want to show you just how it starts up now. Forgive my dirty fingernails, I've been painting yet again. F1 will start the sound. Now on the HSTs, apparently the rear car started first, so let's just see if that happens. Ah, it does. We'll go back. That's the rear car. Now, I know it's difficult on camera to get a feel for the noise, but it's just got so much bass, you can hear it reverberating around the basement. So goodness knows what it's like when it's got that high-pitched Paxman Valenta wail. It's going to be something else. So let's put it on drive hold. If my camera, it's having a bit of an attack. We'll put it on drive hold. Let's just play the horns. And then if we put it on F8, I think, yeah, it's on F8 now. So we should be able to put the, we should be able to increase the sound of it, but it shouldn't move. So again, don't forget, it's got a good, I'd say 38 metres. All it looks like the Tay Bridge, doesn't it? HS3 at the minute, because it's not there. But when it's reassembled, it's got a long way to go, and it's going to be rocketing through this station, blowing away the little people that's going to be standing on it, because my layout is going to have lots of people on it, unlike some that we know about. But yeah, there we go. Now F13 gives it this hissing noise. Must be something to do with the generators, don't know. I bet there's some HST class 43 drivers watching this. Turn that off, let's power her down. There we go, the HST125, all finished, apart from maybe a little bit of frame dirt or roof dirt on the roofs, a little bit of maybe dirty black on the bogies, but apart from that, you can't tell because it's I've not linked them up, but all the coaches are lit, and they're not like Belisha beacons either. They've just got a nice subtle light, but nothing that blasts out, which, you know, I don't like seeing on some passenger trains. So there we go. Just thought I'd show you this. You can show it canted round, and I hope you enjoyed that, folks. We'll power her down. Oh, I think I pressed the wrong button, but never mind. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's move on from the HST. Okay, so let's move on to Book of the Week. And as you can see, my Book of the Week is Freight Trains in the North of England by John Matthews. And this has been out for a few years now, I think, but this is the second copy I've got because the first one was very dog-eared. And dog-eared is always a good thing in my opinion, because it means that I've read it so many times. And this, as I said, is the second copy, which I got from Bill Hudson Books at the Manchester Model Railway Society exhibition last week. But it's great for a number of reasons. I love captions. I've got a thing about captions in books. And I love it when it's elaborated on and it tells you all about the trains themselves, where they're going to, what train it was, etc., etc. And this is no different. What I also like about it, it's got loads of ideas for model railways. If you're planning a layout, or even if you're interested and you're an armchair modeler and you're just, you know, basically sketching something on the back of an envelope, it's great for that because it's just got so many different ideas. Loads of infrastructure. It covers steam, it covers diesel. It's just a super book, really varied and well worth the $12.99 that I paid for it, as I said earlier, from Bill Hudson Books. I think originally it was £25, published by Pen and Sword. But again, it covers all eras, and it's just a really good read on a really crappy, horrible winter's day like we get here in England. So well worth buying for $12.99. So ladies and gents, that is my book of the week. And now it's time for the biggest blooper of 2025. And I did think long and hard about showing you this. Firstly, because I had to bleep out so much stuff. I was just having a really stressful day, so forgive me. And secondly, the chap who played this little trick on me is a good friend, and we both enjoy a good curry. Where am I going with this? Well, check this out and you'll see what I mean. Especially for the graffiti ones, which, I mean, look at the level of detail on there for an extra £4 or £5. And I'm going to be certainly investing in the graffiti ones because I just think they're really, really good value. Now, the Colas 56, the body shell I recently painted, as I talked about in a previous video, but this has just come back from Lee's Locos. I've wired it up actually to a Signatrack because I use this just for powering stuff up and down and testing, but I mean, you can't beat the sound of a 56 on startup. So let's just go through the F keys and just show you what's involved. I know the eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed the red buffer beams, which the Colas never had, but they'll be painted over before long. So you've got the horns and everything else. Air brakes, I just love the sound of those air brakes. Absolutely superb. Oh no, I've just switched it off by mistake, sorry. I think we can still play the other features. Where they are. Yeah, buffer clang. I might have to go through them all. Oh, got a driver's door. Some down here, I think, 22. What the f is that? Oh, for f sake. Nope, we're not at the end yet. In fact, there's quite a lot of video clips to come yet. I hope it will entertain you. All the footage, the classic footage and those archive clips from Heaton Lodge Junction Phase 1. Now, I'm really sitting here with the cooling tower behind me because I just wanted to make a couple of announcements that may interest you. The first is that the building, which I mentioned a few months ago, is now not complete, but it's way on the way to being completed. Now, the layout is going to go in there during the school holidays next year. Which school holidays, I don't know yet, because I will make a decision about that in springtime. But it will be going for some weeks at a time in this big new building, which is in West Yorkshire near the Sculpture Park in West Yorkshire, just off junction 38 of the M1. And then it's going to be touring the UK after that and going to lots of different locations from Scotland all the way down to Exeter. So all over the place, basically. The other thing I wanted to tell you is when it does go out and the paying public, well, are doing just that and paying to come and see it, I'm going to reinvest a lot of the income into rolling stock. Well, two things actually. The first is rolling stock because I want to run this layout in different eras, not just the 2000s era, but I want to go back to the 1980s, which a lot of us know and love with the blue diesels, etc., etc. And for you steam people, I want to run it in steam as well. So from the early 1960s with the odd green diesel here and there. So it's going to be basically running three different eras. Obviously with HS3, the elevated high-speed line, when it's running the steam era, that won't be there. But it probably will be in the blue diesel era. I haven't quite made my mind up yet. But it's going to be running on three different eras, and you'll know which eras it's going to be running in because I'm going to be announcing that in the Modelling Railway Press, where it's going to be, what eras, etc., etc. But I think that'll really appeal to us modelers, especially the 1960s. It'd just be great to see big, long 9Fs on freights and austerities and the odd, A1, A2 Pacific as well. So there we go. What else did I want to tell you? Well, I wanted to ask your advice really, because somebody said to me at the Manchester Model Railway exhibition, if you want to get that layout out quicker, why don't you skimp on a lot of what you've got planned and just get it out so it's a bit like, and this is nothing derogatory towards making tracks, but just basically a bit more basic, so not as kind of really elaborate and detailed scenery like I've got on the phase 1 of Heaton Lodge Junction, but just something where there's still all the trains there, but I've not gone to town on the scenery and I've not gone to town on the buildings, etc., etc. So it's a bit more basic, perhaps with not a lot of weathered rolling stock, etc., etc., just lots of trains, blah, blah, blah. Because as he was rightly saying, you know, I could get some more money in the bank kind of straight away because it wouldn't take me as long. So I'm kind of thinking, well, financially, that makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, there is something inside me that wants to get this layout out in its absolutely super detailed form. So it's all like phase 1 and it's absolutely gobsmacking. So I would be honoured, seriously, of your opinions in the YouTube comments. So basically, do I get it out before time in a more basic form? And again, I'm not, you know, poking fun at making tracks. I really am not. It's just a case of I know their layout is a bit more basic in terms of it doesn't go as elaborate as the scenery does on this. I think they would even agree with that. Do I do something like that? Just get lots of trains running and get it out? Or do I keep going as I'm doing, keep doing these videos, keep doing the how-tos, really go to town with the scenery and get it out? It might be a little bit, few months after, but in that form as opposed to one that's not quite as elaborate. I'd be interested to know your comments, so let me know. What else did I want to mention? Crowdfunding. Do you remember a couple of years ago I did that crowdfunding campaign? Just wanted to remind the 150 odd people that put 25 to 100 pounds in, haven't forgotten yet. When this does go out, as I've said before, you're going to be having your own entrance, free entry, fill your boots, you'll be going behind the scenes and everything else. And I will make these features available to people. If you want to come and see how the automation's working, then you'd be more than welcome to do that. It might be a little extra cost because of the time involved, but we will work it out nearer the time. So those are the, I think those, I've got a list in front of the camera. Those are basically, yeah, what I wanted to say. Apart from, I know there's a lot of armchair modelers watch these videos. There's a lot of people who never have their own layout, who just sit and they enjoy watching these videos and the video clips. I really hope you and people who are building their own layouts as well, because there's still a long way to go with this. I really hope you feel as if you're part of it, because that is really, sorry, that was the company upstairs and the noise. I really hope that you feel you're part of it, because you are, you really are, because these YouTube videos and the comments really make a massive difference to me. And I've even changed some things as a result of what people have said in the comments too. So those of you that put regular comments, really appreciate it. You know who you are, and thanks ever so much. But I'd appreciate your comments on whether I go with the Heaton Lodge Light or the full fat Heaton Lodge when it eventually goes out. I'd appreciate your comments on that. And yes, please, you know, consider yourself involved in this, because I am often guided by what people say, because it's easy to make your own judgments when you're down here. James has made a lot of difference. My helper, who comes in a couple of times a week, he's back at home at the minute because he's off university. But it makes a lot of difference when you involve other people. And I'd always appreciate your comments. So thanks ever so much. So I'm going to say bye now. I'm going to leave you with all these clips that you're going to watch, hopefully. And just want to say thanks ever so much for your support. Really appreciate it. I really do appreciate it as well. Have a great Christmas. And I don't think there's going to be a video next week. We'll see. I am going away for a couple of days, so we'll see. If not, and you don't see me next week, I will definitely see you the week after. So once again, have a great Christmas and thanks.